We are stingy with our dollar, but we quick to sell our soul. We need to start getting stingy with our soul just as much as we are with our dollar. Breaking quick and quickly down, I'm a break. You go to the store when you're looking for your clothes. You go to the section of your size. You go and look through that section. You go through your favorite color. You see what season it is, and you make sure you pick the perfect size shirt, the brand, and the design.
We doing all this business stuff and whatnot, and doing all this community work. We're not doing family work. We gotta really get in tune with really getting back to the family. Like, sit down with your family. You need a space, you need a time, and you need some food.
It ain't that hard to get family together.
Yeah, I'm just trying to run a checkup like a doctor. All of them are acting, need an Oscar. I just wanna.
Welcome to another edition of Lead Your Lineage podcast. Our number one podcast for families seeking to end generational dysfunction.
Yeah.
What up, cuz?
Nothing much, man. Working on my family, man. You know what I mean? And working on more the dysfunctions and working on the strengths. You know what I mean? You feel me? And you feel me loud. But just been working on my family, cuz working on myself. Learning how to really navigate life and understand that everything already happened and everything is happening that already happened, and we are already living in this one thing that we call time is really our brain separating everything. But just really understanding and navigating life through spiritual means, understanding how to really control my emotions. And everybody think emotions always got to be this negative thing. I'm talking about even when I feel like I'm high, how to still maintain and still have to think of the same thing when I'm low. Always have that positive or that good maintaining spirit of myself, so I can never get too high, never get too low. And really just working on that, cuz working on myself for real. And it's hard out here when you're your own father, your own daddy, and you're trying to be a daddy. And so I've been really embracing myself and giving myself credit for that. And I saw this lady post online. She said, how man who was raised by single mothers, know that a woman can't teach a man to be a man, because how you become a man? Simple question is through trial and error. Every day I wake up, I had to learn. Some men do, some men don't. I had to learn that my ways was not ways of progression. It wasn't ways of a man. I wasn't moving as manly, and I had to look in the mirror and say that.
What are some ways?
And I got you. And I had to look in the mirror and see that. And that was one thing. It was hard to really look in the mirror and say, "Damn, bro, you not man. You not how a man should be." You know. One thing was the biggest thing with me was really with anger. To get to your question, was with anger. Good question, by the way, too. It actually fell into this.
Ask good questions. We can do our best.
Anger. Excuse me, y'all. Anger. One thing I used to do after I got angry, it was over. It was hell. I wanted to raise hell. I wanted to bring whatever can be brought upon devastation. I wanted to bring chaos. I wanted to cause havoc. All of these things, you know what I mean? And I didn't know how to tell myself, hey, what's the logic way of thinking of this? What logic, what's going to be the consequences after you make this decision? Does this decision help you further yourself, or does it make you take 10 steps back? How important is this? You remember I told you this a couple years ago when we first started kicking it. I said I always look at things from how is this going to affect you in 5 years. Yeah. I had to learn that, cuz, for myself. Yep. I had to teach myself being a man. That shit hard to do. So I That's one thing I had to do. I had to look at it and like, all this, because I was so used to seeing how black women handle things, how my mom raised things, did things since they want to raise a war. How most black men seen their mom raise do things. When we in trouble with our most black women, when you get in trouble, bro, they punch you, boom, 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 everything physical, because they feel like they got to be like that to you because they a woman, and so they got to feel like they got to show you that they stronger. You know what I mean? So I had to handle that, with that. Learn how not to put my hands on stuff. Learn how to, when, like I said, when you get angered, look at what's going on. I never looked at the logical way because I was always seeing my mama, women, what? They handled everything, what? Emotionally. So I was seeing things in the house getting handled emotionally. So I handled everything emotionally without no logical thinking of it. You made me upset, you gonna feel me being upset. And this upset gonna come to chaos. It's gonna be turmoil. You know what I mean? And bumping your head a couple times, you be like, damn, why the fuck I keep finding myself into trouble? Why I keep finding myself on the run, like I was on the run? Can't go to certain areas because niggas want you dead. You know, this is real life. Uh, Beefing with people, man. All this is because I wasn't doing any logical thinking. None of us was doing any logical thinking. All of us were black man frustrated. And when man, like I told my grandma this, I told my grandma, I am you. I'm just a male version. My grandma, if you ever meet her, Barbara Jean, it's in my genes. She gonna tell you the truth, and she don't give, or at least her version of the truth. And she don't give a fuck who there, how you feel, how you take it. And I told grandma, I'm just like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I can attest to that wholeheartedly. For sure.
I said, grandma.
For sure.
You
were definitely my grandson.
Yeah, I said, grandma, Barbara Jean is in my genes. My auntie was there. She said, yeah, he ain't lying. It's just different, grandma, because I'm a male. So it comes with aggression. It can come with consequences and all that because I'm just speaking, you know? So I had to catch my ways, and how do you know that these are ways that a man doesn't navigate when you never saw a man travel or navigate through any obstacles of any scenarios in life, how they handle any situation? How do you do that? Well, first I feel like you got to do something type of reading. You know what I mean? I guess I feel like that's where I started. I started looking at certain man. And this is hard for me to even still say because I was about to not say it right just now. I was gonna skip
appreciate
over.
Your vulnerability.
I was just gonna skip over, but I'm gonna say it.
Appreciate that.
I look up to Anthony T. Browder, but when Carter G. Woodson. However, when I actually met people like Brian Carter and Kareem Hines, I actually got to touch these brothers. I actually got to get to know these brothers' numbers, talk to these people, see these men in action. Those are my first real role models. So I got to looking like, okay, this is
Shout
how
out to Brian and Kareem.
Yeah, this is how they move. They both married. They both been long married. They both been on the show. I met them brothers, and I look up to them. That's hard for me to say because I never. When you become your own man and your own father, you're like, shit, I don't look up to nobody but myself. Because that's what you had to use in order. Yeah, that's what you had to use in order to fill the missing gap. Well,
let me ask you this on that note.
Yeah.
You knowing that you found those role models to fill in that gap.
Yeah.
That was left, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you navigate the emotions of learning about the Carter G. Woodsons, the Anthony T. the Kareems, and the Bryans? How did you navigate the emotions that you were exposed to since you were youngin, and transmute that into adulthood? How are you able to get through that? Because it was definitely an emotional time. That's what you've been exposed to
I was
now.
in the
Like getting that
car.
masculine energy now. It's like, okay, damn, I rock with y'all. Y'all married. Y'all, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm doing.
Cause you just gave me a flashback, and I haven't remembered this memory in a while, and I never even you saying that. So I want to get right to it. It was that moment you asked me how I was feeling emotionally and everything. I'm glad you asked me that. I was in the car at the time. You remember when you first came to my first apartment? This when I was living in apartments. The first one when you first came to it. The ones out west.
Yeah.
The blue ones. So I was out there in the car, and I was mind blown. I was like, wow. It's I felt robbed. I felt angered at that time. I even felt more anger. I learned how to deal with it by now, but that even gave me a different anger at that moment. It made me, despite everything, you know what I mean? Like, damn, man, like my pops made me hate him, made me hate my daddy even more. I don't hate him now. I just don't fuck with him because what he did to my sister. But it made me hate him at the time. It made me be like feel some type of way for my grandma who deceased because you done raised this buster. You done let this buster ass nigga be a buster and not take care of his kid, or at least me. You know. So it made me mad that way. It made me upset at the system. Like damn, I kind of understood my daddy too at the time too, because then that gave me an opening. Like, damn, he didn't have a daddy. His daddy didn't have a daddy. His daddy didn't have a daddy. So all these was going on that. All these emotions was going on, and I would start reading more and reading more, and was like, damn. I'm not taking away from any man actions, but all these actions as we play as black people are predicted. We are kind of like programmed robots without us even knowing.
Absolutely.
As the race. You got to remember, man, they took our race and they brainwashed us. They made us learn how to navigate and to move incorrectly in order for us not to ever be able to get together. So we got these habits that we still do and we don't even know that we do because we haven't picked up no book and read. So when I'm reading this and I'm learning, like, oh, okay, so this is why. How can I help? How can I help and actually make this become better? You know, because it opened up my mind. It gave me another perspective uh, of thinking. Like it really, I've never been a judgmental person, but it really made me not be able to judge people because it's like, I understand the understanding. You know, you got to understand somebody come up for real, and it just gave me a lot of emotions at once. However, I was like, man, I'm at the time, however you can perceive it, however you look at it, that's how I felt. I'm like, but I'm God. I am the none. Whether you believe it or not, you are the none. That means the all, the creator of everything. We all are all this, it's just the creator separated itself in everything. You know what I mean? And we are the creator. This couch is the creator. And so understanding all that really made me be like, it's something higher in life. These decisions and these habits that I'm displaying and navigating through life, I can become better because these not only were not ways how a man move, these are ways that uh, uh, man that was programmed to move, who was raised by a black woman who was programmed to raise me like that. Because if you read Johnny Litch, whether it's true or not, the shit is very factual if you read it. So I had to learn how to navigate in that, and that turned into knowing how to read and know how to look outside myself because I don't always got the answers. Like I said earlier, I think I was the man. I'm the man of this. I'm the man of that. I control everything. Sometimes I can make the wrong decision. I need to look outside. You know.
Yeah, you human.
Yeah,
It
be
sounds like
human.
your dysfunction led you to a
Higher
higher
purpose.
power
Yeah.
and a higher belief in divinity, or spirituality, essentially. And you were able to connect the dots. Like, oh, my dad didn't do this. His dad. Like all the stuff that was swept under the rug, all these generations. And you're like, oh, okay, you felt all these emotions during that time. I was like, oh, I gotta change. I gotta be a lineage leader. I gotta do something different to fix this shit. So I wanted to give you your flowers for that, because having that realization of like, all right, damn, okay, it's fucked up, but I can do something about it.
Yeah,
I can change this. I don't have to continue this dysfunctional path that we've been on. You sound like you're a lineage leader, cuz.
I appreciate
Before we even started leading lineage, you were a lineage leader.
I appreciate
it. You know how you telling me, cuz been on it? You've been on this too.
I know, that's what I was saying, man. I've been on it for a while, man. I was on it since 2017. It just looked different.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's when I turned myself in and I stopped going on the run. I said, I ain't about to be running no more. I ain't about to be thugging no more. And then in 2019, it really hit me. That's when I stopped, because at the time, I was selling edibles. And I thought that shit was just, you know what I mean? It was innocent. But then after that, I kept it moving, man, because understanding who you are, because 2020, that's when I started reading heavy. It gave me time to start reading heavy. And then, you know what else opened up, cuz? Made me realize in this, learning basically learning the habits of our ancestors, cuz. Make a long story short. Learning how we moved and navigated, man. Knowing that it was black folks that looked like me that was doing some shit, man. I know it sounds cliche, but it's the truth.
Absolutely.
I was reading that. I was like, man, imagine if all my brothers knew this. Then you know what else, man? I want people to really, I'm gonna keep it 100. You know, it's books.
If our family knew that.
Yeah, you know, it's books like this, man. Y'all know it's books. It's a book called the Religious Instructions of the Negro. I'm not gonna tell you what it's about. Please go read it. It tell you about why the Negro is instructed. You know, it's videos. You can find these videos on YouTube. I showed cuz these many years ago. The instructions on how to sell to the Negro. They got a book too. It's a book version too. It's a way. It's instructions how to live with the Negro. All of these books are real, written by white folks and all that, and they all would tell you why we act and why we dress a certain way, why we even do things. You know what? Y'all know, if you really want to know something even small, it would tell you why at church, why the ushers, the instructional religions of the Negro, by Charles Cochran Jones, it tell you why ushers at black church. Think about it. White church don't do this. Ushers at black churches wear white gloves. Why the hell do? And this shit would be factual. Like, we gotta start looking at facts. I'm tired of all this faith shit. I'm gonna keep it 100. I wasn't even gonna break. I wasn't even gonna say that. I'm gonna keep it 100. Today is me keeping it 100 to 100. My barber jean, my barber jean is in full effect. You know what I mean? Yeah, for real, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. We gotta start looking at facts. Why are we this religions? Where did this religion start? How did people even start becoming this religion? At all religion, we gotta start looking at stuff at the base of things. Like, legit, we gotta start getting out of the religious books and start looking at who created these religious books. Why were they created? Why was this religion created? Like, I remember, I'm glad I thought about this, man, because I said this so long ago that y'all new people probably haven't heard me say this. So I'm gonna say this. I said this a long time ago, and I'm gonna say it again. We are stingy with our dollar, but we quick to sell our soul. We need to start getting stingy with our soul just as much as we are with our dollar. Breaking quick and quickly down, I'm a break. You go to the store when you're looking for your clothes. You go to the section of your size. You go and look through that section. You go through your favorite color. You see what season it is, and you make sure you pick the perfect size shirt, the brand, and the design. You probably go try on multiple shirts, and that's just with the shirts. I'm not even gonna get into with the shoes and the pants because you do the same thing. However, with religion, the first one you told, you get sold, and you die hardly believe in it without no facts or without no resources of anything saying that this is true.
And that goes to your point earlier about role models. When you have a role model that you look up to, right, in your household, whether it be your grandmother, grandfather, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, mother, father, when you have that person in your household, as you should, everybody needs somebody to look up to, and everybody needs somebody that looks up to them as well. It's my personal opinion. When you have that, and the systemic oppressors know that speaks to what you were talking about in terms of these manuals that mandate how you move as a human being. When you look at all these different aspects of life, like I think it was 2016 for me, because and I really had my quote unquote awakening.
Mm-hmm.
January 9th, 2016. That's when I started questioning every single thing. My entire existence started to get questioned on that day, because all of the things I basically told myself, to sum it up, so we can dive back into the conversation, that everything I taught was a lie, and I got to figure something else out for myself because it didn't feel right. And then a few years ago, I found a brother named Dr. Delbert Blair. He transitioned recently, a few years ago. A couple of years ago, he transitioned. And he said a quote that I hold true to my heart. He said, "Truth is only the truth when you decide it's the truth." And when you got your role models giving you a truth that other people decided was their truth, and that continues, that cycle continues over and over and over again.
Eventually,
that's when we talked about the stuff that got swept under the rug.
And then the stuff
tripping over it every single day now.
Yeah, we don't understand.
Now we fixing it.
Yeah, I feel like our problem is this though, man. A lot of stuff we do, we don't understand. Like I said, most of our people, man, I'm just keeping it 100 today. You know, most of
we don't understand.
We don't understand, bro. You know, a lot of stuff we do, we don't understand. We don't when we don't understand that us being at, look at church, bro. If church was so godly, so why is that church? You go to church, every church is separated. Blacks is with blacks. Whites is with whites. Why is it that? We got to start looking at stuff. We don't understand. We do stuff that we don't understand. We go to church every Sunday. Black people churches are later. I'm giving y'all gems, but y'all got to read the book to understand what I'm saying. We got to understand why we going to church after white folks. Why we go to church after white folks? Why church? Black folks churches is later, right? But we just black folks we late. We late. It's later, cuz it's later. It's later, cuz I ain't about to go here with you. He be missing out on black culture. It's not funny, cuz that's a shame, bro. We black, cuz we missing out on black culture. We black man.
We're black though,
man. Us, we black culture stuff that we was like I'm talking about stuff we was taught. And we don't even know why we do that. We do. Shit like being late. We don't understand. We don't understand being late. You know, we was while we late to these churches, go read the book, you know, and you will see why. All this stuff makes sense. But you have to read in order to understand for it to make sense.
But look though, to that point, cuz the most sold book in America
is the Bible.
Came out. No, it ain't. It's not. It's not.
Ain't nothing sold more than the Bible.
Yes, it is. It's a book called Common Sense Ain't Common. by Thomas Paine. It was written in 1776. Most purchased book in American history. That's the same year where America declared its independence from Great Britain. Now, in that aspect, this is what they had to do. America came here, settled on the 13 colonies. We know it's deeper than this. I'm just going off of what we in 4th of July coming up, right? I don't celebrate it because I don't celebrate it, whatever. They separated from Great Britain. Then they basically had to fight for their independence, essentially. The thing for what you're saying is what I'm interpreting. Like, we don't have our independence because we were taught all these different things. But also we were, the manipulation that we underwent psychologically to have a book that says it's called Common Sense, not Common Sense, not Common. It's called Common Sense by Thomas Paine. Wrote in 1776, cuz this book, that's when we were enslaved, right? Unfortunately, not right, not true. That book, being the most sold, most purchased book in American history, speaks volumes. Because common sense is not common, cuz if we were in our original culture, everything you're saying would be true. But we're not. That's why I had to say, like, what's black, what's late.
But what I'm saying is
it's
this,
so unnatural. I'm with you.
Why are black? It tells you the problem is, and all that you saying. Oh, if we read these books, you know, man, it's a reason why we living like this, and we will learn why the reason we living like this if we read these religions. I mean, not even just religion. If we read these instructions of the Negroes that was written by these people to make us think of what you were talking to make us think of what freedom is, to make us think of what time is, to make us think of all whatever you alluded to. That's all in the instructions of the Negroes. That's what I'm saying.
But then when Negroes read that, then what?
They can interpret it however they want. Either some of us gonna see it the light, some of us not. I'm talking to the people who gonna see the light.
You're talking to the lineage leaders.
Yeah, we don't got those. If they watching this, they already. I already X'd the people, the non-listeners out, so I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about them. They can't hear this platform. They already left a long time ago when I was start speaking the truth. That's the problem. Everybody I'm not worried about saving 1,000, 1,000,000 of us.
Not me either.
I'm worried about saving the ones who need to be, because we can make something. Everybody else gonna follow in pursuit.
Absolutely.
The leaders, I'm looking for the leaders, so the leaders can get together and show them it's a group of leaders, so everybody else can follow in pursuit. Shit, that's the problem. We ain't got no leaders, man. If it's a very few leaders out of the world and everybody else is followers, and the black folks don't got no leaders, that's our problem. We need a couple leaders to help everybody else follow. That's normal. Everybody else got leaders. We need us a couple leaders too, so we can follow. Ain't nothing wrong with following. That's what teams do. Shit, Robert Horry followed his way into what, 8, 7 rings?
Yeah,
I don't know.
7. It was 7, I think.
Okay. Shit, whatever the number is, but still. Shit. He followed his way. That's a not. He got more than Jordan.
Yeah, for sure.
Followed his way.
He played his role extremely well.
He got more than Jordan at the end of the day. So if we talking about ring culture, why are we not mentioning Buddy? He's a
shout out to Bill Russell too.
Hey, yeah, he's a ring collector. Being a quote unquote follower. But it's really not. It's a team player. You know what I mean? Fred Hampton. We don't mention him too much. You know, man, speaking of that.
Before you get into that.
This goes into that. Speaking of that. This is one thing me and my wife was talking about. You know, all this that I'm alluding to, these are things and behaviors, history. These are ways of thinking that was given to us after slavery. I said that because, man, when I was talking, I was about to say something about Fred Hampton, but I thought about something. Why us black folks don't like learning or care or want to do anything of our habits that's before slavery? Do you get what I'm saying? Do you follow what I'm saying? For instance, the way we eat is the way we eat after slavery. The way we talk, the way we move, the way we do everything we do is what our ancestors was doing after slavery. But when somebody practices or does something what our ancestors was doing prior to slavery, black folks don't want to do it. We don't want to practice nothing that we used to do prior to slavery. We only want to practice things that became after slavery, and that sums almost everything up that we was talking about
today.
Speaks
volumes, absolutely. And that, to that point, when we look at our existence, our lives,
you get what I'm saying, though, cuz
I'm with you. I'm tracking. Everything that we represented and everything that we were prior to being enslaved on our land here, it's counterintuitive to. Well, let me not say it's counterintuitive. It's not convenient to a lot of people to really explore that side of themselves. Even though, and we talked about this on a previous podcast.
Say that word again. It's not what kind?
It's not convenient for us to explore that
That's
side
why
of
most
ourselves.
people quit being vegans. But
it's not convenient. And if we really gonna keep it a buck, like what about the black or melanated experience is convenient? If we're gonna be honest. And that's why it's very, very important to really learn about what that was prior to, or what we were prior to. Now it's not convenient. There's not a lot of documentation of that, rightfully so.
Like documentation for what?
Let me finish this point.
Hold on, to what though? Hold on, what you mean?
I'm about to get into it. It's not a lot of accessible documentation. This is the word I should have put in from the accessible documentation, and here's why. Because it's not in our hand on our phone, getting fed to us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok or whatever we own. It's not. We have to do some inconvenient stuff to be able to go get that information, and that's what I mean by that. It's not that it's not out there, but even more so, back to what I said earlier. Truth is only the truth when you decide it's the truth.
Okay, I'm with you now. I thought I was about to say it's out there.
Let me cook.
It threw me off. My ancestor said, "Oh no, it's out there."
See, cuz told me 2 months ago, let me cook. I'm cooking. You're interrupting the cook. You gotta get out when the chef in the kitchen. Get the fuck out the way. Let me cook.
Man, go ahead, man.
Let me talk my shit.
Hey, man, go
I'll
ahead,
be talking
man.
like this, but when I get in my bag, I'm in my bag.
Man, you trying, man? Shit. Go ahead.
Let me talk my shit. All right. So it's inconvenient. When we look at when we really keep it a buck and really look at it. And Cuz said this on previous episodes. We talked about this off camera too. We were here before slavery. We were here since the beginning of time.
We're the only people here.
That information is inside of us right now. Truth be told. Because we have DNA. We got RNA. Got all these NAs. All these epigenetics, all this stuff that black people and white people have done research on. And we can find this stuff out. But to get to that information is inconvenient. It is inconvenient. Mm-hmm. It's very inconvenient, cuz.
You know the most read book by black folks? I ain't talking about white folks. I ain't talking about white folks. The uncommon sense shit. I'm talking about black folks. I only speak about us. The most book we read and the most book we go to is the Bible. It's the first book people first read when they first go. Most black men, most black women, and that's what was alluded to us. Going back to it was the first book we was first allowed to read.
That's what our role models. That's what our role models were.
Going back to the unconvention, being inconvenient. And that's where that comes from. Inconvenient. The book the books, Religious Instruction of the Negro. It was only so many of them. Miseducation of the Negro. It was only so many of them. That's why I bought a lot of them to pass them out. Stolen Legacy. The Tribe of Dogon. All these books. The Egyptian Miracle. All these books, man, they're very known, but not to us. So
Yeah, the American black person.
yeah, the black people. So I say, yeah, it's not on our phones. It's not given to us, but they know because if you go to their museums, if you go to the Vatican, they have our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They got our shit. They got in the British museums. They got our stuff that belongs to our people. You know what I mean?
They do.
So
yep.
I 100% agree with you because it's not on our phones. It's not in our faces.
It's not. We don't talk
And
about
the
it
black
at the dinner
people,
table.
it's not on. But guess who it is? It's in theirs. They know about it.
Yeah,
you know that's why the person who wrote Stolen Legacy, James, I forgot his last name.
James Cochran Jones.
James Baldwin. No, that's not James Baldwin. I forgot what's his last name. Who wrote Stolen Legacy? But he got killed. He got killed for drop. No fucking lie. This is real, bro. So he had that book, right? He got random letters said that his book is dropping too much of real knowledge. Like the knowledge he was dropping it was known by the Masons, the people we call Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, whoever that is real information that wasn't supposed to be getting shared.
Population, yeah.
So guess what? They killed him. Burnt all his books, took all his books out the library. But they didn't know that one of his best friends had his book and he had it in his collage. So they didn't know. So they killed him and they took all his books. It's his true story. And after they did that, years passed by. His best friend gave his book to his son. After years and years passed by, he didn't even tell his son he had the book because he was probably scared, shooken up, like, damn, I got this book. And this book could really get me killed. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he gave it to his son, and his son went crazy and published it and everything. And that's how we got that book. That book was not supposed to be given to black folks. He literally got killed. Like, this is for real. He got killed for making that book, bro. Dropping us knowledge that we don't supposed to have. And like you said, it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient because they didn't want that in our hands. But the Bible and everything else is easy to grab to. We got to start paying attention, like I said earlier. We got to start being more stingy with our soul. That even means with, even outside of religion, that even means with what we eat. We got to start being more stingy with our soul. Yeah. That even means the way we listening. We got to be more stingy with our soul. Everything, and we gotta start being more stingy with it. Start understanding, like, I'm not about to keep selling myself. We selling ourselves to greed, to food, to substances, to everything. We gotta learn how to control ourselves and control our soul and understand.
We gotta rest so we can rise.
Yeah, my favorite thing to always say is what this, cause it's easy to ignore the soul. It's easy to ignore the spirit. You know what I mean? Because what? They don't need food. They don't need shelter. They don't need clothing. Your body needs shelter. Your body needs clothing. And your body needs food. So guess what they did? It was given to us. The world gave us that. The world gave us food, shelter, and clothing. But we had to go get it. But now they didn't took the freedom away from us. And now we focus on those three things. So we won't have time to focus on our spirit and soul and mind. Because if we had those three, if we had those three things covered, you know how easy your life would be if you always knew that you had some food to pick from your garden. You had wood from your neighborhood throughout everywhere you see, because you can keep building on your house. And you had all three of those essentials, you'll be good. You can focus on your mind. You can focus on your spirit and soul.
Absolutely. You ain't lying, cuz. You ain't lying. That's a good way to end it.
Man, because I don't way to end it right shit. Hey,
that's powerful.
Hey.
Your spirit, your soul doesn't need food, shelter, or clothing. But your body does. And you know what else? Lead your lineage is very spiritual. Very spiritual.
360, 720.
I mean, this goes anywhere. We can do this in Africa. We can do this in America. We can do this in Australia.
Yeah.
So when we talk about creating a family legacy, in closing, we talk about creating a family legacy and being a lineage leader. All the things we discussed today plays a role in all those aspects of what it is to be the true you. You got to go within so you know you don't have to go without. You go within, you'll get a knowing that you don't have to go without because everything happens within. So the inconvenience, the inconvenience, the inconvenience, whatever value you want to put in front of it. When you figure out that everything you need is within, you're going to do everything in your power to get all the bullshit out of you that does not serve you. And when you do that, that's when you become a lineage leader. So family, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Lead Your Lineage podcast.
Wow.
As we always love to say,
Peace.
Wow. We'll catch y'all in the next episode.
Wow.
Peace.